seems like it was just yesterday, and 2015 season was happening, but realistically, we're 10 years removed from it right now. And as you guys can see, we have a few of Panthers' finest in the room right now. I want you guys to kind of relive the 2015 season a little bit, and we're going to start all the way back during the training camp period. I think that's where that team really came together. Stu, if you want to talk a little bit, start us out talking a little bit about what your fondest memories are of the 2015 training camp.
You want my fondest?
Yes.
My fondest memory was me running downfield on the left side over there by the wooded area where the running backs did their drills in the shade, chasing down Cam Newton because I just felt something was about to happen. You know, sometimes you just, when your quarterback take off, you're like, all right, let me get a little extra conditioning too.
Gotta go with him.
And lo and behold, at the end of the play, he locked up with Josh Norman here. I don't know what to this day, I don't know what was said or what really triggered the event, but I want to say thank you. Thank you for putting your body on the line. Because I think that was the turning point of the season in the and the season didn't even get off going yet. But that is the fondest memory I have because I had to basically anchor Cam down from continuing to whoop your tail.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You got all just for that.
I had to anchor him down because if I wasn't there, if you see the picture, I'm sitting there.
So Josh, that's Stu's version of what happened.
That's crazy.
I want to hear
real story. I want to hear everybody else's version.
I want to
hear everybody else's version. No.
Listen,
I
not
want to hear
after
everybody else's version. No, because it's one, and then you got two other people here that was literally in the middle of it. So I want to know.
I know what happened.
So I don't know what happened. All I know is that for that whole week of practice, tempers was flaring all week. Between Cam and TD talking, Cam and Josh talking, me and Luke talking, and Luke never talked. Greg talking, Khalil talking, everybody talking. So tempers was flaring. Couple different small skirmishes, Coach Rivera throwing his hat, making people break it up, get water and stuff. And then as me, being a heavier set guy in a hot day, I was getting water.
Minding your business.
I was minding my business.
Over there at the pond, drinking water.
Minding my business, kicking my feet up, and I squirt some water. I'm like, what's going on down there? Next thing I know, I see newspaper. Josh got his feet in the air, and Cam biting his lip like. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? Man, it was fun times.
So that's your rendition.
Yeah, I don't know what happened though. So I'm rooting for my coastal guy.
So Stu and Toll kind of told the story, right, on what happened, what transpired, how it came about. But how it really came about was we were trash talking, we were going back and forth, and I was always that person that was in Cam's ear because one of the things that Coach Rivera understood, and he knew that if we were talking trash, then we had to be at our best all the time.
You gotta back
whether
it up.
that's offense, whether that's defense, us going back and forth, he knew that he was going to get the best out of us. He knew how competitive we were as a group, and he knew how bad we wanted to dominate and win defensively, but he also understood how bad the offense wanted it. So he knew that our practices were going to be extremely competitive. If it was ever a time where I came out and Coach McDermott would tell me, like, hey, look, we're going to lock in, we're going to focus, and we would get quiet, I'm over there. I'm like, man, I can't even talk. I can't even beat me. And Coach Rivera would come like, hey, come on, like, where you at? So I'm like, yes, let me go. So I'm going.
Run by him.
Can you? Look, instantly, like it took no time. All I needed was hit that trigger, like, let's go. So we going back and forth. Cam, I guess he had some kind of deal or agreement with Shula that he wasn't going to throw an interception to Luke because Luke would always read that seam dig and he would intercept that dig. And Cam did not want to throw that interception. Ends up throwing the interception to this dude. He catches the interception, and on the interception, Coach McDermott used to always tell us, you catch the interception, go do what?
obviously got to score.
You got to score. You got to score. You catch the interception. So Josh, running back, goes and scores. And when Cam threw the interception, he got to go make the tackle. But now he's still in his head. He's mad. He's thrown an interception. So, you know, if you make a bad play on the field as a player, you're already in your feelings. But if you make a bad play and then you get this to your face, you get stiff arm, that's what happens.
You
so,
stiff armed him?
Man, stiff arm the crap out
I
of him.
didn't see that part.
Oh,
See,
yeah. That's what did it. That's what
warm.
made Cam. Not only did he stiff arm him, he stiff armed him, and he said a few choice words.
What'd you say to him?
And
We're going to get
now
inside.
we're
going to get it.
now that I'm telling the story, you finish it
I'm
off.
glad you clarified that because
Yeah,
that's
hey.
the reason why I was running because it was a pick. So
Go
I was
ahead.
like, I
Go
gotta
ahead.
chasing him down.
Go ahead and finish the story out.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, so the versions have been told, but the real reason, I never said anything.
Yes, you did.
I never said
You're
anything.
lying.
People,
I heard you say something.
People out here, I never said anything because I'm taking it back to the beginning of why we even got here.
Okay, let's go then.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning because personally, I never said anything. I literally was oblivious to all the trash talking y'all was doing because I was in my own world.
But why are you lying? Being
I'm
innocent?
not.
You
I'm not.
innocent.
I wasn't. I did not talk trash that time because guess why?
You know
'Cause
it's
guess what?
recorded.
I know it's recorded, but the thing is, that whole week, it was something, but not during that day. That day, it was just like a regular day. They was whooping our ass. Like they was taking, y'all taking it to us.
That's a lie.
That was
it's
not
not.
a lie.
Definitely
That was
taking it
listen.
to us.
They was taking it to us that day.
Picking
I
it
remember
apart.
that day. They was literally like anything they wanted to do.
Agreeing to that shit.
Yeah,
You know
we
y'all
got.
lie.
Of course we got. Why we got to lie about
If you
that?
want to talk about it, let's go.
Well,
talk
put it
about
on.
Put the film on.
Put it on.
Bro,
Put it on.
Okay, so TV in denial right now.
Well,
Okay,
maybe
I'm
Josh got
not
beat
gonna
a
be
couple
there.
times. I don't know. We didn't get.
Oh my God! Now I got beat because I'm
he-
telling
he
you.
said-
I got beat. I'm
he
telling
said
you.
you
beat
got
on
beat.
and
I
off.
didn't say I got beat.
If
I
he
never
got
said
beat-
that.
if he
Rewind
got beat,
this
who
tape,
got
'cause I
beat
never
then?
said that.
Josh.
The team.
Wow, this is wild. So back to my story because you had your time. So the whole time y'all was doing y'all thing, you know, marching down the field, Cam was yelling and all this other stuff, you know, everybody having a good day. And then finally, it was you, Luke, and y'all guys like brought it up like, you know what, I'm tired of this. That's when the flip, like really the switch changed.
And who,
at that
you?
point.
Because
Yeah, I mean,
my
like-
switch is always
Y'all
up there.
defense.
What? How you
shredding
always
y'all,
up there? You brought us all
My
up.
switch is up because I'm trying to get you to come up with us.
They
then.
trying to get us to come
'Cause
up.
apparently Josh was getting whooped that
Obviously,
day.
it was getting whooped.
Josh was getting
No,
whooped. Josh
so,
was getting
so I'm the
whooped.
whole defense right now, I guess.
I was getting water.
The defense. Everybody getting together. You got doing Kurt, he up here, he got the group, and then you got Roman, everybody. Now we together. Now we all on the same page. All right, cool. All right. Something happened in play for that. I think one of the guys came over and then either you or Luke hit somebody. And then the next play, I was in slot formation coming over on that over route. I think it was Philly, whoever I was on at that point. And then Cam, he saw, I guess he was trying to throw that over. I undercut him, picked the ball off. Then I was going to the house. Now, the one thing that I did know is when he was trailing, I still was kind of a little pissed off about something that happened play for it. And then he came up, ain't nothing got to do with beat. I ain't get beat none of that.
Just keep going. Keep
Get
going.
beat none of that
Keep
time.
going.
And so I come up, get the ball. He run out. See, he's starting already.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
And then he chased me, and then I gave him a little, friendly love tap. That's all it was.
It was a
what it
love
was?
tap.
Friendly love tap.
But
Just
you
let him know
just
that I was
stated
there.
that you was frustrated, so it couldn't have been friendly.
Well, I'm telling you now.
He
10
telling
years
his
later,
side. He
you know?
telling his story. He
10
don't
years
know
later.
no other
Kind of a
story.
little cloudiness, you know what I'm saying, a little foggy up there. But I'm saying back then, I gave him a little tap, got to the end zone, a little, then threw the ball
Yeah, he was
down.
like that.
Yeah, nobody else outside
came
of me.
up and hammered
Couldn't
you
talk
up.
nobody. Then I turned around. Then, see 6'5" looking and staring at my face. And I'm like, all right,
Here we
what
go.
What we gonna do? Like I didn't see a red jersey. I just saw another man in front of me. So the only way to get through is what? Walk right through them, right?
Or walk around them.
I'm not walking around nobody. I
Okay.
never did that. You know that,
I
Stu.
know
I
that.
walked right through them. And then
That's why I say I appreciate
we
you.
kind of got a little, bickering back and forth, and that's when we started to lock up, try to do a little hip toss, And
That's when the foot came
That's
up.
when the foot came up. That's why I did the hip toss. And then we got on the ground, and we really couldn't really get activated.
Yeah, you couldn't get activated because you was hanging down.
Get activated. By the time then, everybody else jumped in. But you know what's so crazy about that, though?
You couldn't get active. You couldn't get active. I'm going to be honest with you. Because
hey, look, I just want you to just.
I just want to know how you gonna save me.
You know,
if it wasn't for me,
and videos of this, bro.
You know that I know they do, but you got the before all that stuff happened. You got the before.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
But you can't lose. You can't ever be in a position in a fight or in an
altercation.
altercation. You can never be in a position where you're hanging down.
Oh, that's
I
my
can get doing a hip toss, so you know you gotta come back.
You're getting dangled, bro.
Hip toss. But I'm gonna let you know something, right? Because guess what? What y'all guys did, I appreciate y'all. Cause you know why? Y'all whole offense, y'all stuck together.
Yeah,
y'all stuck together. You know what I'm saying? Y'all stuck together.
Oh, we didn't stick together with you?
But you know what? I look back at that. Guess what I saw?
We didn't stick
I
together
ain't seen
with you?
none of y'all over there. None of y'all. And I'm trying to tell you that
if
right
you
now.
don't
You
see
ain't
no
gonna
white
learn
white
none of
jerseys
that.
either.
I ain't seen none of y'all
Boy,
over
are
there.
you serious?
Where was you at? And if you was in there, you should have
boy
been throwing too.
This boy
That's what I'm
said-
saying.
this
None of
boy
us
said,
was over
"Hey,
there.
why you
None of
say
us
you
was over
ain't
there.
help me?
None of us was over there. None of everybody
I
was
was
on
there.
offense trying to get you off.
I was out there trying to get Cam up because I was like,
So-
look, if he
so
punches
that.
this man's helmet,
Hold
Nobody
on,
was punching
hold on.
nobody.
Josh,
It was too fast.
Josh.
They was too fast.
Josh,
Everybody got over
hold
there.
on, Josh.
You gotta do
Josh,
anything.
we came to listen.
Sacrifice.
Now,
But you're right. It
listen.
was on me because you
Listen.
know what? I was a defense.
I'm gonna tell you.
I was a defense.
I'm gonna tell you
So
this.
I allowed it.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Yeah.
We came to
You
your
scored,
defense
I did score.
and on top of
I got up on
that,
that.
hey, and
I
on top of
I'm
that,
just
on
saying.
top of that, we cussed Cam out for being in that situation because he can never do
he
that.
can never put himself
At the
down.
end of the day, the quarterback, Josh, just listen to what I'm telling you. The quarterback in that situation can never do that because all it takes is one punch, and that 2015 season don't happen.
Yeah, he was.
And that's what I'm saying. And
He
especially
was
like
fragile.
That's
going
what I'm
back.
saying. We sacrificed you not really reacting the way you probably could have, given you had the better leverage. Because he tossed you over, you was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Nah,
That's what happened, right?
Look,
Yeah.
nobody threw punches at that time, but you know it could have got a little bit out of hand.
But I think,
You know,
but
I decided I didn't want to take it that route.
Yeah.
yeah, we appreciate you deciding that.
You know what I'm saying?
It
That's
looked
what
different
it
from
is.
all of us, from all of our perspective. But if that's your truth,
but
then
you know,
we're gonna
look,
roll with you.
Since I was a defense, you know what I mean, I decided that I was gonna let that ride for the moment.
Yeah, we appreciate
And
you.
then I
it
came
worked.
back
Listen,
next day,
it worked out
did the
because
same thing.
it ultimately brought us together.
There was a lot of moments throughout that season. I look at Luke going down early in the season, right? On defense, I'm like, God dang, boy, we can't catch a break, right? What was that, the Jaguars game?
We know how valuable Luke is and was to this football team, and to lose a guy like him, it's gonna always be tough. It's never gonna be a time where we are a better bunch or a better team if Luke Kuechly ain't on the field, and we all knew that. We all understood that, but we knew if he wasn't there, everybody else had to elevate their play, whether it's from the front line to the linebackers to the secondary. We also knew that in order for that season to continue to go the way that we wanted it to go, we had to finish that game. We had to finish that game in a strong way, and we were able to do that. You know, guys rallied around each other. We created some turnovers. We got the ball back to the offense. The offense finished in the end zone. Josh scored a touchdown, and the rest was history from that point on. You know, A.J. Klein stepped up. Shaq Thompson stepped up, made some big plays from the linebacker spot for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and you know, we just were able to keep the momentum going defensively, and the offense, you know, I think we did a great job of playing complementary football in times like that.
Yeah, I feel like one of the biggest things from Kelvin getting hurt in preseason was the challenge to the coaches. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a lot of talented players, but nobody was 6'7", 260, you know, running a 4-4. You know what I'm saying? So the coaches, especially Coach Shuler, had to come up with certain plays to that. We need to get Stu the ball 15 times. We need to get Mike the ball. We need to get Ted deep shots. You know what I'm saying? We need to get Philly the ball over the middle. Make sure Jericho gets the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like Greg, everybody was involved. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to we got to focus in on 13. If we can't get him, then this is read 1, 2, and 3. You know what I'm saying? And that elevated Cam's game because the play calling was elevated as well. That's my thought.
That's a good point. That was a great point.
I mean, that was a wild year though. That whole thing, but just Kevin going down. I remember that because we used to go at it.
Josh.
Used to practice that one-on-one.
I got a question for you. When did it click for you?
All right, I'll say this.
Because that year, I was like, y'all see this man? and we saw it coming, right? But like, I was just like, wow, like this is incredible. Like when did it click for you?
The year before that.
The year before that, I feel like
Towards the end of the season, the year before that.
I didn't even play that first couple of games. I think it was just more so you guys had to tell coach, like, hey, look, you got to dress Jay out in this game. Like, when Luke went down, it was, all right, what she was saying earlier, cats got to step up. And they got to step up in a big way. And I knew, like, on our side of the ball, I can only control what we can control. And what was able to get us back there was turnovers. So really what happened was Thieves Ave was a whole entire mantra that it wasn't just a mantra, it was a way of life. Like thievery, like save lives. Yeah. And that's literally what we had to go out there and do, take the ball away by any means necessary. If it was on the ground, if it was in the air, it was gonna be air controllers. If it was on the ground, it was gonna be foot soldiers. So it was just like, every time Coach Washington had us come up right before practice, y'all see us probably in our huddle, and we break out, thieves on me, thieves on 3. And we say thieves, and we run out there and we get activated. So that's kind of the biggest thing for me, and that's just that mindset of every time we touch that field, be the best player on that field that day and taking the ball.
So that's good, Josh. So let's talk about, let's segue a little bit and talk about some of the adversity. We're on the topic of adversity, but I think the most adverse thing that we faced along this run was in Atlanta. And we had beaten the brakes off of them earlier in the season. So it wasn't even a thought in our mind that it was gonna be anything different going into Atlanta. So we go down to Atlanta, and ultimately disaster ends up happening, right? So what are some of the things that happened in you guys' mind? Like, share with us some of the things that happened in your mind at that point. Did you feel like the season was over with, that we had to let yourself down? Like, kind of talk to us a little bit about what that moment was like leaving the Atlanta game.
Well, for me, I was at the house because I had got hurt originally against the first time we played Atlanta at home. So that's when I broke my foot. So broke my foot against Atlanta on a screen, like 10-yard game, get landed on, boom. So I'm at the house recovering for playoffs. So my mindset was, all right, regular season done. I just got to make sure I'm ready for that first game, right? And so, but watching the game, I'm watching, from how it looked watching it, it was a moment of, oh, you got caught slipping, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad that happened because it was going to happen at some point. And I'm glad that had to happen during a regular season game. And yeah, it was Atlanta. Like, we had so many guys on the team that's from Atlanta. You might argue that's the most important game of the year for a lot of guys. And you go down there and you know, piss down our leg. But I think that's how we responded to that. I remember just being in the meetings, right? Like, Coach Rivera was just kind of like, cool, like, hope y'all woke up now. Everything ain't what it needs. Everything isn't always rosy unless you put the work in. And so watching it on TV, I was like, whew, I'm glad it happened. Because that 16-0 thing, because we was going 11-0.
Yeah, man, we was singing,
13,
taking pictures on the sideline.
It was fun.
We started it. You know what I'm saying? Man,
was,
all the stuff they doing now, we started.
Yeah,
that.
on the sideline,
You know what I'm
pictures,
saying?
their
Sideline
practice,
stuff,
all that.
celebrating as a team. I remember that Atlanta game, man. I had a lot of people there watching because they wanted to see us as a team play. You know what I mean? But at the same time, with him being down, they knew I was gonna get a lot more playing time. Right? Well, I was already playing a lot, but fullback and running back was a lot heavy. But I just remember everything in that game was just harder. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, like, we had beat them, 38-10 or something earlier in the year. But for some reason, that game, everything was just that much harder, that much, it took that much more effort to get 2 yards on a play that should have got 10. You know what I mean? And as I'm going through it, I'm like, what is it? Are we tired? Are we, you know what I'm saying? Are they really that good? But then I think about previous seasons and before that, that's what an NFL game is. Every game is hard. A 2-yard gain sometimes is a great 2-yard run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that year, everything was so easy
We was hitting
that
a
when
lot
we
of cylinders.
hit a game that was
Difficult.
tough,
Yep.
it was like, man, it ain't supposed to be like this right now. But you know what I'm saying?
Because even when sometimes you playing against an opponent where it's like, man, this is challenging. Like the
Right.
Colts game that year was
Yeah.
kind of like that. Like, man, we gonna win, but this is annoying more than anything.
Right.
See, and I think honestly too, we had worked our way to be able to handle games like that. Because if you look at previous years, we lost so many games in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
by a
one
touchdown or
score
less,
game,
one-score games, and that kind of propelled us to be able to handle those same type environments that 2015 season. But as I look back to that Atlanta play, and I talk to Peanut about this all the time, I still be blaming the game on Peanut, but I know it's not really Peanut's fault. On the first drive of the game against Atlanta, I think we had them 3rd and 17, and we stopped them. If y'all remember, we stopped them. And Peanut ended up getting into it with Roddy White. They had a little altercation. They called a 15-yard penalty on Peanut, which gave them the first down. We had stopped them on 3rd down, but they called a penalty, and that kept that drive going. They ended up scoring a touchdown that drive, which ultimately ended up being the difference, touchdown that they wouldn't have had. So I look back at that, and I'm like, you got to always be disciplined. You got to always be on your game, and you got to always make sure that you never let somebody else get the best of you from a mental standpoint. And in no way possible am I sitting here saying that was Peanut's fault or it was on Peanut. But in any given moment, you just never know what could be the difference or what could be the outcome of a football game.
That's only a couple plays. It's only a couple
I
plays
think
that'll change.
To that point, the mental game for that group that year was ignited from him getting beat up by Cam and from losing Kelvin, right? Like we all had to lock in. So to that point, when you're not locked in, these games are hard to win.
Yeah.
And if you're not locked in, it's gonna feel like everything
it's
is
tough.
hard and it's tough. And when you let another man like get in your like headspace like that, you already lost.
And then and then for us talking about games and how it's perceived and going into it feeling like you're gonna win or should win or whatever that was, and we had gotten on a roll. We'll go back a little bit. We had a game Thanksgiving Day against the Dallas Cowboys, right? Y'all remember that game?
Nobody picked us.
Y'all remember watching that game beforehand, watching the preview shows, and how everybody said that we were going to lose that game because Romo was coming back. And Coach Rivera was a stickler for that stuff. He loved the bulletin board material. He would bring it in. Nobody believes in you. Nobody is picking you.
man.
They're poking the bear, man.
Like always, Coach Rivera, he was good at that. To me, I saw that. To me, I saw that as a coach utilizing and taking advantage of anything that was given to make sure that the team locked in and stayed focused. So we went out in that game with the mindset of we're being disrespected. On national TV, everybody sitting at home watching us. We got to show up. We got to perform. We bust those all blue unis out, that color rush jersey in Dallas.
The Smurfs.
Man, listen, that was the worst thing that could have ever happened to the Cowboys that day.
What do you think what game would you pick? I'm gonna ask all y'all. What game would y'all pick as far as the moment that we have arrived that season?
Seattle.
Hold on, before you get to that, I gotta answer
It
that
ain't no
question.
question.
I gotta ask that
go
question
ahead.
because you went to that over there.
I'm over here, bro.
Okay, so before you go there, I would say popular country beliefs. I won that fight, by the way, so we ain't gonna go there.
Well, you delusional, boy.
Whatever, we ain't gonna go there. But that season, that year, I would just say this by far. Our practice was games. Our practices were game times. It was not so game times was just showing up for Sunday's best. It was just like taking pictures and like saying hi to fans and just like showing up and getting dressed and looking good.
Practice was harder than games.
We made it that way though.
I know that's why we went on that run. That's why we went where we went. That's why we were just blowing teams out the water because our practice was like, shoot, man, you may not be up this week if you get showed up. That's just what it was.
Practice was definitely hard for them because there's a lot of
I was going down.
Constantly going at it, man.
But listen, all that's great stuff. But that season created a phenomenon around Carolina. Like the amount of energy, the environment, the way that the fan base took off, the way that the dab created a whole new cultural change, and the way that Cam Newton's success kind of elevated the Carolinas. Can y'all speak to some of the things that happened that football season that you never anticipated or never imagined seeing right here in Carolina?
I mean, you got kids in the stands, hitting the dab, dancing. You know, every time we score, give the ball to a fan, and like you would now have a lasting impression on that person, right? It becomes more, you embrace the idea of this is bigger than a game because of this, and it's because of the people. And I think that's one of the things that Cam really poured his heart into is the people. I mean, he wanted to win, for himself, but like what that does for other people, the magnitude is even greater, right? And so giving the balls to the fans and stuff like that, and the celebrations after the touchdowns, it's third quarter and we might be winning by 2 touchdowns. We still on the sideline taking pictures like it's the end of the game, right? And again, it's the mindset of winning and sharing it with the fans, sharing it with each other. Like that's what that season, that's why it was so fun.
People sit back and they try to point out, what happened in the Super Bowl and but at the end of the day, we're never in that position if Cam isn't who he is and he doesn't do the things that he does that season. And I think so often people forget about that and they lose sight of that because of the way that things transpire. But at the end of the day, we as his teammates, and I'll forever have his back. Whenever that situation comes up, if that story comes up, I used to go at it with him every single day, and I know what that did and who he is as a person. But there is never a time that I would ever lose sight or forget the impact that he had on this organization, on this city. You watch one person be able to control an entire crowd. Like by literally pointing, by literally just pointing, how he would have the wave going, he would have everybody engaged and locked in on what he was doing. And man, I think that in itself just really speaks to how special this man was as a player and how special he is as a person and how much he means to this community, this fan base, and this organization. And I'm constantly trying to remind him of that.
That was some real hardcore bromancing right there. If you guys didn't realize, I mean, dude, like
You're a clown, bro.
big time, like big time.
Think about it as a player, like when you start to develop that kind of chemistry and then you segue into the next year using that momentum, I kind of look at the current state of the Panthers franchise, and you saw that momentum from the offense. You saw the defense started to make some plays, but not consistently enough, so they had to go out and make some moves, right? So if you look at the trajectory of this football team and what they're doing, man, it's eerily similar to some of the things that I felt like we experienced and that we went through from a 2015 standpoint.